Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah. Welcome to the Build Propulsion Lab. Today we have Paul Merlin, who is one of the Gradle developers who contributes a lot. He has been with Gradle since 8 years ago. And Paul, let me introduce you. Oh, please do something.
So I'm Paul. I'm working on the open source Gradle build tool, like you said, for a bit more than 8 years. So I made contributions along those years, ranging from the Kotlin DSL, the configuration cache, and now Declarative Gradle.
Nice. So quite a lot of important projects, and you're presenting at Devoxx France today, right?
Yeah, we're presenting together with Louis Jacomet, colleague, on the road to Gradle 9.
Yeah. So Gradle 9, it's quite a big project. What are key features you anticipate there?
So there are many aspects that we work on, but there are two pillars. One is performance as a feature, and the other one is build comprehensibility. So on the performance side, there are things like the configuration cache becoming the default, and on the another highlight on the comprehensibility side is more high level, more abstraction in the modeling, mostly around test suites, for example.
That's really nice. And there is another project which was announced in November. It's called Declarative Gradle. So you mentioned that you are working on that. Could you share how it's going and what you anticipate with this project?
Sure. So this project is still in an experimental phase. And the reason we started it is that it's been years since we recommend people to have their build logic extracted into plugins and to keep their build scripts as declarative as possible. Like in your plugins, you expose a DSL that you can declaratively configure in your build script. But because Gradle build scripts, being Groovy or Kotlin, they both offer you a lot of liberty. You can basically write any code there. We've seen in the wild a lot of builds with complex build scripts, with flow control, conditions, etc. And this hinders the maintainability of builds, but it also makes it really hard for IDEs and other tooling to automate working with these scripts.
Yeah, I can totally second that, because every time I work with an open source project using Gradle, I see that it's basically the same Gradle in terms of the language, but the definition is completely different. The approaches they use are different, and there are thousands ways to do the same. So I think with Declarative Gradle, it can be done. Well, hopefully it will save us a lot of time when we develop it.
It's one of the goals to make another Gradle build familiar. Because when you look at many builds today, you can get very different things because of the freedom.
Exactly.
And with Declarative, one of the aims is that when you look at another build, you feel at home because it's the same as the other one.
Yeah. And at the same time, will I still keep flexibility? Because the problem is there are so many YAML build tools, definitions, and basically the problem with them, every time I need something complex, I end up writing bash scripts or whatever the language they include.
Sure. So we understand that, and that freedom is powerful, and we don't want to lose that. So we will keep all the plugins, the build logic, as it was, but we want to have this way to restrict what you can do in your build script. And it's a trade-off.
Definitely.
It's a trade-off you have to make. But we also, we already have in our prototype a way to mix part of the build being declarative and some not. It's useful for migration purposes, but it's also useful for let's say you have a build that is fully declarative and you want to experiment something on one project. You can turn it to an imperative script and experiment there, write code. And when you're satisfied, extract that in your plugin and get back to the declarative mode. Basically, what you could do today with regular scripts, but because of the freedom, people tend to not to go the extra mile.
That's for sure. So when we use Kotlin DSL, basically we can program pretty much everything. So now with convention plugin, etc., you can have same declarative definition on the entry point.
And the declarative Gradle takes it further. As you might see, my background, my t-shirt changed, and it's because we lost the audio in the recording. In the interview, we talked with Paul about many other bits, including developer experiences, compatibility, and our intent to make the transition as easy as possible for Gradle developers. Goes without saying, we also want to preserve full flexibility for advanced users. We also discussed the necessity of proper IDE integrations and what we plan on this direction for all major IDEs. If you're interested to know more about Declarative Gradle, check out the public GitHub repository where we have quite a lot of information, including overview, key principles we discussed with Paul today, also some examples which you can find in the overview and in the repository. There is actually quite a lot of samples in Unified plugin prototypes. You can see that there are examples for Gradle, for Android applications, for Kotlin, including multi-platform projects. So this is basically our aspiration towards Declarative Gradle, and you can find a lot of examples there. If you're interested to discuss the bits, we have a Declarative Gradle channel on the community Slack where you can find Paul, me, and basically every other contributor. We also have announcement which declares our intent, so check it out. It's basically a full manifest of where we want to get with this project. And if you want to know more, join us at KotlinConf in May. We have a presentation there. So Paul will present together with Sterling Green, and there will be quite a lot of updates on Declarative Gradle too. Thanks again to Paul for joining us and doing the presentation. I'm sorry we lost half of the video, but I hope it was still interesting to the participants, and we are looking forward to making more updates for the community. Thanks, and see you soon.